Hi guys, welcome back to Black Coffee Builds. My name is Henry. So today I'll be tackling a much needed shop furniture project. My shop is incredibly disorganized and there's almost no options for storage. Additionally, the table I have my miter saw on is far from ideal and cutting long pieces is unnecessarily difficult. So I'm going to build a big miter station with a long table and drawers. My plan is inspired by the cabinet build video on the Shop Nation channel, which I'll link in the description below, and you should check it out if you haven't already because it's great. This is going to be a larger project. For that reason, I'm going to break it up into 2 videos. So without further ado, let's get started. The first step was to cut some 3/4 inch plywood down to size, which I did off camera. These 6 pieces will serve as the frame for the cabinets, 3 for each carcass. Here I'm marking out where I'm going to make cutouts with my jigsaw to place stringers that connect and support the frame pieces. I'm also cutting out a corner for a toe kick. Each frame piece will have 5 cutouts, which allows for 6 stringer pieces to be attached, including 2 for the toe kick, 2 for the top, and 2 for the back. My woodpecker saddle T-square really came in handy for this. I used the first frame piece cuts as a template to trace the cutouts on the remaining pieces. This was much faster than measuring out the cutouts on all the boards. After making all the cuts, we can now rip down the stringers and attach them with glue and screws to start to make it look like one cohesive unit. I saved the center frame piece for last and just marked a center line on the stringer to use as a reference for the glue and screws. With the frame pieces and stringers all in place and upright, you can start to see how the table and cabinets are going to come together. Next, I cut some 2-inch wide strips to serve as a guide for the drawer slides, which I will attach later on. After cutting the guide pieces, I cut out the strips that are going to serve as the face frame on the cabinets. I put the face frame together with glue and pocket holes before attaching it to the cabinet. I added these leveling feet because my basement floor is pretty uneven in some spots, and sometimes water can leach through the old cement walls, and I don't want the wood to rot if that happens. To attach the face frame, I just used some glue and brad nails. For the tabletop, I used 3/4 inch MDF on top and 1/2 inch plywood underneath for extra support. To attach the two together, I used glue. Lots and lots of glue. While waiting for the glue to dry on the tabletop, I used wood filler to clean up the seams and brad nail holes on the face frame. For tabletop trim, I ripped down some pieces of solid red oak. In an effort to attach the oak trim as cleanly to the tabletop as possible, I used a flush trim router bit to clean up the table edges. I didn't have a clamp long enough to secure the side trim pieces, so I had to get creative with the clamps I do have. I did a tabletop dry fit and it looks good, so now it's time to paint the carcasses. I used a bare marquee trailing vine from Home Depot. I've used this color in the past on a bathroom vanity that I built and I really like it, so I went ahead and used it again for this. With the paint dry, I could then attach the tabletop to the cabinet body. I opted to only use screws in case the top ever needs to be replaced. Once attached, I then put on a few coats of an oil-based poly to the tops, including the side trim. If you lightly sand between coats, it looks great and turns out super smooth. Now comes one of the main functions of this entire project. I'm measuring to find how big I need to make the middle shelf to hold up my miter saw. Oops. I also measure the height of my miter saw base so that I can attach the shelf such that the miter saw base is level with the cabinet tabletops. The middle shelf is going to have the same look and materials as the cabinet tables. In this shot you can see a perfect example of why I needed to build this miter saw station in the first place. Making this cut on this little table is a bit ridiculous. If you remember back to earlier in the video, I cut out some strips to be used as drawer slide guides. Well, here I am finally putting those in while the glue on my middle shelf is drying. I cut a reference piece from some scrap to space the strips correctly, and used a square to place it as well as I could. I just used glue and brad nails to attach them. After the poly dried on the middle shelf, the time had finally come to transport the miter saw to its new home. It fit just right. I only had to use a small shim to make the base level with the sides, which I did with pieces of a paint stir stick. Thank you guys so much for watching. In this video, we finished the carcasses and tabletops of the miter saw station. In the next video, we're going to build the drawers, install the drawer slides, and install the drawers. As always, links to some of the materials I use can be found down below. If you enjoyed the video, hit the like button, and if you want to see more content like this, consider subscribing. I'll see you guys next time right here on Black Coffee Builds.